For most of my life, up to around 2023, I was a chronic overthinker. I would give my thoughts so much power that they would literally affect my feelings, my emotions, and ultimately affect how my day went. This would happen every single day. Unfortunately, I gave my negative thoughts most of my power because I struggled so much with self love and I didn't really know myself. In 2023, after parting ways with someone that I really did love, my life changed. I realized that I really needed to pour into myself so much. I began to ask myself these questions. I began to ask myself, who are you? Like, who am I? And so in 2023, I began the ultimate self love journey. In this journey, I have not only learned who I am, but I've also learned how to control the thoughts that enter into my head. I've learned how to get rid of negative thoughts. Within the self love journey, more specifically, understanding the process of controlling my thoughts and getting rid of negative thoughts, an idea that's really stuck to me is that our minds belong to us. We do not belong to our minds. Our minds belong to us. We do not belong to our minds. The moment that I realized that and I fully understood that, something went off in me, something literally clicked. I realized that these negative thoughts were literally coming into my head. They're not already existent within my head, they were literally coming into my head. So I wondered, how do these negative thoughts even enter my mind? Our minds are greatly impacted by our surroundings. Negative thoughts come from past traumas, past experiences, the media that we consume, the music that we listen to, the people we surround ourselves with, the daily conversations that we hear and we decide to be a part of. Though this is true that negative thoughts come from so many outside sources, I truly believe that the more you love yourself, the less negative thoughts you will have. On the self love journey, as I started to get to know myself, I really just started to love myself for who I am. Every aspect of my beings, the ins, the outs, the ugly, the good, all of it. The negative thoughts that I would have about myself, about situations, about people would literally happen less and less. Now, I do believe that the journey of loving yourself is a lifelong journey. With that being said, I still have negative thoughts due to my past traumas and because of the things that I've experienced in life. And I feel like I've cracked the code. In fact, I did crack the code. Some of the biggest changes that I've made in this journey was removing toxic people from my life. And I also avoid listening to very toxic and self destructive music. I don't go to toxic environments that are extremely low vibrational. Like, I don't go to clubs. I don't go to events that involve taking substances. With that being said, I don't take substances at all. I don't rely on anything to boost my mood or to improve how I am feeling. I rely on myself and I rely on my faith. So, since I look within when I am not feeling my greatest and I don't look for external pleasures, I take my self love journey very, very seriously. And I fully understand the importance of what's allowed to enter my mind and what's allowed to stay. I'm at the point where I am developing a free mind, and I want everyone to experience this. Once we can get a hold of every single thought that comes into our head, analyze it, and decide whether it can stay or it can go, then we can reach that level of having a free mind. So let's get into the steps I take to remove negative thoughts. Before you even begin the journey or process of removing negative thoughts, you really have to know who you are. You really have to be within that self love journey and know who you are. When a negative thought pops into my head, I separate myself from the thought. I know who I am and I know the type of person I am aspiring to be, the type of person that my higher self is. When a negative thought pops into my head, I literally say, that thought doesn't represent me. That's my first step. I say, wait, this thought does not represent who I am or who I want to become. So, therefore, it doesn't belong in my head. Now that I can actually just visualize the thought in my hand or just looking at the thought, there being a space between me and that thought, here's when I take an extra step and I use my imagination. I would visualize myself separate from the thought, either me holding the thought in my hand or me just staring at the thought. And I would literally just visualize myself pushing the thought away or either pulling the thought out of my head. It doesn't take having a vivid or childlike imagination. It just takes the belief that you can do this. So I literally imagine myself separate from the thought and me either pushing the thought out of my head or pulling the thought out of my head, kicking the thought out of my head. If I'm angry, if I feel frustrated, punching the thought out of my head. Actually practice doing this. I would invite a song into my head, like a really, really catchy or like viral song into my head. And I would literally practice pushing, pulling, kicking the song out of my head. I practice. It only took me a few times for it to actually work. It's remarkable. And I'm literally smiling right now because it really worked. And it really worked. Firstly, you have to have faith that you can actually do this. Try to try to put like a really catchy song in your head. I know that we have all experienced moments where a song just would not leave our head. The worst moments are like before you have to go to sleep or you really have to concentrate on studying. Those are the worst moments to have a song in your head. Okay. And then take that next step and practice with thoughts. For an example, if you are getting ready for the day and you're not feeling that great about yourself and you look in the mirror and you ultimately think, man, I look ugly today, or I'm not looking that great, or this acne is really messing up my features. I just look ugly and I look gross. We all have those negative thoughts sometimes. The moment that you have that negative thought, take step one. Separate yourself from the thought, see the thought as a separate entity, realize that that thought does not represent the person who you would like to be in the future or the person who you are in the present. And then literally imagine pulling that thought away, pushing that thought away, kicking that thought away. This is the step I would take at the very beginning of this journey of removing negative thoughts. Because I've practiced the act of removing negative thoughts into my head by just visualizing it, now I look at my mind and I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, no, I'm not thinking that. And the thoughts would literally just like poof, leave my head. I would literally say in my head, like, go. I'm not thinking about this right now. This is not the time. This is not the place. I'm at this point to where when negative thoughts come into my head, I almost see it as a joke. Negative thoughts can really hold you back in life. I don't even want to think about the amount of opportunities or projects I've delayed because of negative thoughts about myself or about the outside world. Negative thoughts are extremely debilitating. They can keep you from exploring the outside world or, most importantly, exploring yourself. Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm 31, I realize the importance of time itself and how the negative entities that are present within this world that we cannot see are literally fighting to have my soul. They're fighting to have my attention. They're fighting to have my time. They want me to spend my life ruminating on negative thoughts so that I literally waste my life. And I refuse to hand my life over to negative thoughts, these things that don't even exist. I refuse to allow negative thoughts to enter my mind that's separate from me anyway, my mind that belongs to me. If it belongs to me, why would I want negativity to be filled within it? If if it belongs to me and I know the kind of person that I aspire to be is someone who does not allow negative thoughts to affect her, then why would I invite these negative thoughts in my head? Why would I want to allow them to stay? I don't. I am in the process of removing all negativity from my life. In the process of self love, people talk a lot about removing external negative contributors. While doing so is extremely important and is definitely the very, very first step that you should take, equally as important or even more important is analyzing the negativity that is within you, the negativity that you allow within yourself. We belong to ourselves. So if you are in a negative mental situation, I would practice not pointing the finger and not blaming other people, because at the end of the day, you have to be responsible for who you are. At the end of the day, are you proud of the mind that you are literally cultivating within you? And if you are not, it's time to take action. It's time to begin the process of removing negative thoughts. When you have a free mind, and whenever I say free mind, I think about the song by Thames. So it makes me smile because that song, I absolutely love that song. But also, like, imagine having a free mind. Imagine closing your eyes, and within your mind exists so much gratitude and love. And if a negative thought even dares to pop into your head, all you have to do is say, go away, and it goes away. Imagine living a life so beautiful. Imagine living such a beautiful life within your head. I'm so blessed that I don't have to imagine this life, but I'm actually living it. I exist within a world that exudes positivity and gratitude. And that's even an affirmation that you can say daily. But I can say, it's true. It's true for me, and it will be true for you. So, cheers to removing negative thoughts from your life, from your being, and feel free to let me know how it goes. I love you all, and I will see you next time.